First thing Tuesday morning, about to get under the bar. With this training block, I'm going to be prioritizing some volume work on the bench press instead of running heavy maxes. So that means today we'll be working with 187.5 pounds, but we'll be doing 5 sets of 10. I'm going to likely feel like a bit of a bodybuilder today. And there's nothing wrong with that, because a bigger muscle has the potential to become a stronger muscle, and a stronger muscle, the potential to become a bigger muscle. Let's get it.
So I was right. This volume work is no joke. I definitely felt like a bodybuilder. 5x10, the pecs were popping, the show was stopping, the sleeves were splitting, the triceps were toasty. But we got through all of the required repetitions across all working sets, so that was encouraging. And then 5 sets of 15 to 20 reps on the wide grip row. Let me tell you, my forearms were fatigued. Without a doubt. Okay, I'll be honest, they were destroyed. Then we went into some straight bar lat press downs. I have not incorporated a lat press down variation for ages. It's been an absolute minute. In fact, I can't even recall the last time that I employed this particular accessory exercise for the back. Not sure if I'll keep it around long term, but it was fun to mix in, as is often the case when incorporating accessory exercises that you haven't done in a long time. And then I failed miserably here with the lying tricep extensions. I was supposed to hit a top end set of 10 repetitions, and normally I might miss it by 1. It happens. Might get 9, but I only got 8, and that is devastating. Missing a top end set by 1, frustrating, acceptable. By 2, that's a no-fly zone. And it was a sad one too. Watch this final rep. It just, you could just sense the defeat. Oh, that was so sad. Just right to the chest. Disappointing. Disappointing. Regardless, managed to clear all my back off work here, so that was encouraging. And then went into the close grip easy bar curls. 70.5 pounds on the bar. 2 sets, 10 to 12 repetitions per set. The pump was very much present all the way through to the end of the workout. Great start to a new training block. I'm encouraged, feeling good, feeling strong, feeling a lot like a bodybuilder that doesn't really look like a bodybuilder. We're going to have to work on that.
First thing Thursday morning, today's going to be an interesting training day because I'm bringing back conventional deadlifts, but not in the same way that I traditionally do. Conventional deadlifts for volume. So that's going to be a little bit interesting because for the past, probably better part of 2, maybe 3 years, I've focused on pulling conventional for a top end set after some form of squat variation, whereas today they will be the primary lift, but we won't be going for an all-time max. We'll be working on building out that foundation of work across 2 to 3 working sets. So, without further ado, time to get on the bar and get busy.
And it was pretty easy to hit a volume PR, 365 pounds for 1 set of 10 repetitions, followed by a back off set with 275 pounds for 10 repetitions. And that was that. That's kind of how it goes when you've never done more than 1 or 2 top end sets after heavy squats. It felt kind of strange. I don't want to say that it was easy because I definitely felt the effect of the amount of weight that I was moving, but it also wasn't that hard. Yet, I'm confident that it will very quickly become as much. But this was also a 10 rep max on the deadlift. It's interesting because Tuesday felt a lot like bodybuilding, and you can imagine what 10 rep deadlifts feel a lot like in the training community as per preferred styles of lifting. Obviously 275 was super smooth. And then we went into some SSB step-ups to the 18-inch box, rolling off the progressions that we were running last block. We're up to 120 pounds total, 5 repetitions per leg. We've brought the rep range down significantly here as we continue to run that linear progression. Definitely felt confident stepping up to the 18-inch box with this much weight, but doing more working sets as well. just ensuring that fatigue doesn't set in such that I teeter off of the top of this plyo box and end up somehow impaling myself with the SSB, because that would not be a good end to a training session. I would not be happy to finish my workout in such a fashion. And then finished off with some loaded glute ham raises here, just breaking parallel for a little bit of momentum on the way up. 5 sets of 5 repetitions with an additional 10 pounds held against the chest. These toasted the posterior chain. And we're back on the straight bar for the floor press. Brought it back. Done with the Swiss bar variation, although it might come back at a future date. Very likely that this will be the reality for me in future training blocks. However, I wanted to get back to where I left off pre-injury on the floor press, because that's one of the main lifts that I was working on in that training block at the time. Came in strong right off the jump here. I ran an AMRAP set with 235 pounds. We needed a minimum 10. I managed to clear 13, so that felt good. That was incredibly encouraging. Then we backed off the weight, cleared 4 sets of 10 repetitions. A lot of volume happening here, and confident under the bar would be an understatement. I definitely felt like this was going to be more of a struggle than it was. Then we moved into some T-bar rows. Probably could have brought the chest down just a little bit more on these. And let me tell you, high repetition sets with this amount of weight really works the glutes and the lower back just through the maintenance of this position throughout the entire duration of each set and all of the working sets respectively. We kept the reverse hyper rope face pull. I'm a big fan of this variation, so it's going to stick around for quite a while. And I really have no idea what the top end is relative to how much weight I can get on to that accessory exercise. So we're just going to keep running a linear progression as is. Then we got some close grip bench going here as a tricep accessory exercise, but also targeting a little bit of chest and shoulders as well, which is good considering that the floor press doesn't really execute through a full range of motion. So I figured we'd throw this particular pressing variation in for triceps on this training day. And then we finished out with some very high rep tricep extensions here with the kettlebells. Brutal finisher. The back of the arms got the beat down today. Solid session. Overall, encouraged, as I mentioned earlier, is exactly how I'm feeling moving into this training block. And you know, Sunday squats just weren't that great. My form wasn't dialed in to the degree that I would otherwise like it to be. It's observable here that some butt wink is occurring more than usual. Not anything worth making me panic, but just something to know and reflect on and recognize that this was likely a byproduct of me rushing through my reps today. I was not adequately warmed up. I was not adequately rested, not under rested to an extreme, but just didn't really have a good night's sleep. The quality and quantity wasn't there to the point where it usually is, and I'm just not a fan of doing sets of 10 on barbell squats. It's brutal. And running a top end 280 all-time 10 rep max, and then doing 4 sets of 10 at 255 respectively. Again, I felt like a bodybuilder, just like I did earlier in the week, and it was generally uncomfortable halfway to GVT. GVT being that German volume training, which is about as bad as it gets, and this was halfway to there, and my legs were sad. But regardless, we kept on moving. Some posterior chain work here with the belt squat pull through, a variation I've never incorporated, and I'm not sure if it's going to prove all that progressive. However, I wanted to see if I could mix it up here on the belt squat and try something new. And then we finished off with some burnout sets with the Dimmel deadlift, 145 pounds for 3 sets of 30. And you can bet that the glutes were gone. A solid session in the books, a progressive week of training. We're moving forward.